Hello student, I am Pankaj Singh. Welcome to my channel where every question has an answer. So today that we are going to see one topic that is I said that soil genesis or soil profile formation. Soil genesis or soil profile formation. And it is very much important topic for agriculture as well as biogeography section of the geography. So I said for understanding this soil genesis or soil profile formation, we need to understand what is soil profile. Means soil has been divided from the top to down. Soil has been divided into different layers: O layer, A layer, E layer, B layer, C layer, and I said R layer. So the soil formation in the different layers are taking place. So this is known as soil profile, and the way that it has been formed, it is known as a soil profile formation. Understood? Here, we'll also see that which are the factors which is really responsible for the formation of this soil profile and the formation of the soil. It is, I said, weathering. And there are the three types of weathering: physical weathering, in which I said that temperature and precipitation is important. Another one is chemical weathering, where chemical reaction and water is playing an important role. And another one I said that biological weathering, where flora and fauna means plant and animals are playing important role in the formation of soil. Understood it? So for this, let us try to understand in a small part of this weathering. It is a part of geomorphology. Actually, it is a part of geomorphology. Understood? Exogenic force it is considered as. Now let us see that weathering is what? If I say weathering, what is weathering? If I say if a rock is there, let the rock to break. Let the rock to break. Break means we can say like disintegrate, and break mean also decompose. So when the rock will break, then it can convert into these small pieces. First it will break like this. Thereafter the further these large pieces of block pieces of rock will break into these smaller pieces of the rock particles. Smaller pieces of the rock particles it will break. And further these smaller particles will further break into what? Finer, and that we can say sand. It is converting into sand. Further this sand can break and disintegrate or decompose into silt, and further it can be clay. The finest part of the soil is what? Clay. So weathering does it. This is done by who? Weathering. So weathering is simply what I said, that disintegration and decomposition of rock into particles of rock, and that will break in their own origin. It will not go anywhere. After breaking this rock, it will remain in their origin. That means in situ. It means what? It will be in situ. It will not go anywhere. So this is the weathering. I said that weathering means disintegration and decomposition of rock into particles of rock. Understood it? But who is doing this? This is done by, we can say that it is done by physical factor, and these physical factors are temperature, precipitation. Temperature, and what I said that precipitation means rainfall kind of it. If the temperature is coming on the rock, in the daytime the rock will expand. By absorbing the heat, rock expands. We cannot be able to visualize. And in the night time, when the heat released by the rock, it will contract. Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. In thousands of years, it will break into small particles of rock. Similarly, when the rainfall takes place, precipitation, the porous areas of the rocks will absorb this absorb this water and it will expand. And when the water from the rocks will evaporate, it will contract. Expansion, contraction will cause, yes, disintegration of the rocks. So this way physical weathering is taking place, and that is physical factor means physical weathering. And when I say that chemical weathering, chemical factor means reaction, chemical reaction, and water is responsible for breaking the rock. Yes or not? They can also break the rock. And this way it is breaking the rock into particles of rock by chemical factor. It is known as chemical weathering. And another one I said that biological weathering, biological factor. Biological factor we can say, like I said, flora and fauna. If you have seen that sometimes in your life, if you have seen in your life that sometimes in the cracks of the soil, rock, when the roots goes, they used to absorb the mineral from the rock and expands. And when it expands, put pressure and help in breaking the rock. Yes or not? Help in breaking the rock. So when it is breaking the rock, then slowly and slowly the plants roots are helping in breaking the rock. At the same time, when the plants, trees, leaves are there and their parts, when they die, they will fall on the rock, they will react it, chemically break it. It means they are breaking it physically as well as physical weathering it is doing, biological weathering mein, and it is chemical weathering. Means plant is doing both physically by pressure and all, it is breaking it. Yes or not? Means when the roots in the cracks, they absorb the minerals and then expand, and by expanding they put the pressure on the cracks, and slowly and slowly the cracks enlarge and then they are able to break it. In the similar way, when the dead part of the plants, they are coming onto the rock, their organic parts are there and they are causing and breaking it. And this way if it is breaking it, and through the breaking of it, it is slowly and slowly rock is converting into particles of rock. Similarly, this physical weathering and chemical weathering is also done by fauna, means animal. Have you seen that there is some termites, ants, dogs, fox, several animals are there. They burrow the rocks and then make the hole, and they make their houses and homes to live in. So they used to break the rocks. They used to break the physically pressure. That is the physical weathering. And when the every day that these animals used to live, solid excreta, urine, these are the solid excreta left by the released by the animals, liquid excreta released by in the form of urine. That also chemical, they react with that rocks and breaking it. Similarly, when the animals die, their organic part also react with the rock and breaking it. It means biological factor is doing physical weathering and chemical weathering with the help of flora and fauna. Flora means plant and fauna means animal. So it is known as what? Biological weathering. So it means all the physical factor, chemical factor, and then biological factor is doing weathering. And then after weathering, they remain in situ. After breaking, they does not go anywhere, they remain over there. In situ, INSITU. C2 means they will remain after breaking, it will be there. It will not go anywhere else. So this way we have been able to see the rock is breaking. Let us see. Now we are moving ahead and we are watching here. There is something in the process for the formation of the some process is also we need to know, that is leaching. One process we need to know, leaching. Leaching means in the soil, minerals are moving downward with water. When you are putting water in the soil, some minerals, some organic nutrients, they will move along with water. Understood? That is known as leaching. Downward movement of dissolved minerals of the soil. What is alluviation? Very much important, you need to know. What is alluviation? That is the same like leaching. Downward movement of, I said, minerals, organic nutrient, downward movement. but not with water. It is moving under the gravity because those minerals are heavy. Suppose you take in a tank and there is an, I said, some sand particles and iron particles, and थोड़ा सा हिलाकर आप छोड़ दो, just leave it after shaking it. Slowly and slowly, iron particles which are heavier, it will start moving downward inside the sand. In the similar way, inside the soil, heavy minerals or heavy organic nutrient, under the gravity, it moves down. That is known as elevation. So downward movement of heavy minerals and organic nutrient under the pull of gravity, if it is moving. Another one, it is, I said, elevation. So those minerals which are elevation means those heavy minerals are moving downward in the soil under the pull of gravity. They will deposit somewhere. That process of deposition is known as elevation. That process of deposition is known as elevation. The deposition of elevated, this elevation, the deposition of elevated heavy minerals. So that is the process known as elevation. I think it is very much clear. Leaching, elevation, elevation. Is it clear to you? Another part that we have to see, and you know that elevation, in the region where elevation is taking place, that makes E layer, and the region where elevation is taking place, that makes B layer. That makes B layer. Understood it? Let us understand here. Here, if we can be able to see, like, there is a rock, completely a rock is there, completely rock is there, and in this rock, in thousands of years, what is happening? Physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. This is R for rock layer. It is completely rock, but slowly and slowly, physical weathering, temperature, pressure, precipitation, chemical weathering, chemical reaction, biological weathering, animal and plant, they slowly and slowly, some top of the layer till the depth of the 2 meter around, they are able to break the rock. And these smaller broken particles is known as sea layer, that is parent material layer, this sea layer. Again I said that in thousands of years, a rock is broken into particles of rock. In thousands of years, rock is broken and disintegrated and decomposed into particles of rock by the physical, chemical, and biological weathering. Then that broken particle layer is known as sea layer. And that it is below that there is only rock. So it is R layer. So this way we have been able to get R layer is converting into sea layer and R layer. Upper part converted into sea layer. Is it okay? And that is also known as parent material layer. Another part that we have to see, like, again this, the top of this sea layer, I said that here it is R layer and sea layer. This is parent material layer. You can see here. And what is happening? In thousands of years, the physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering is what they are doing. They keep on breaking the upper part of this sea layer into finer particle. By physical, chemical, and biological weathering, these bigger particles has been converted into sand, silt, and clay. That is, I said that this finer particle layer is known as A layer, and then below some sea layer left. Understood it? This way we are able to get A, C, and R layer. Which are the layer we have got? A, C, and R layer. Means there is initially there is only R layer converted into C and R layer by the physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering in thousands of years. And now this top of this C layer in thousands of years through the physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering has been converted into finer particles of the soil. And this finer particle is known as A layer. This is clear, everyone? Now the next part that we can be able to see, like I said that here we have seen that there is an A layer, C layer, and R layer. We have seen in thousands of years what happened. Among this A layer, what happened? Among this A layer, some heavy minerals start moving downward and start depositing. Some heavy minerals and organic nutrients start moving downward and start depositing. So here it is, heavy minerals start moving downward and start depositing. So heavy minerals under the pull of gravity start depositing. Heavy minerals under the pull of gravity start moving and depositing. So the reason from where it is elevation, downward movement is taking place. This downward movement is taking place from this layer to this layer. Here it is, what is happening? What is happening? Elevation is taking place. What is taking place? Elevation, downward movement of what? Heavy minerals from this layer, and then therefore within the A layer there is a formation of E layer. Within the A layer there is formation of which layer? E layer. And the reason within the A layer where it is depositing, illuviation is taking place. Here what is happening? Illuviation means deposition of elevated material, deposition is taking place. That layer becomes B layer. That layers become what? B layer. Is it okay? And this B layer is just above the C layer. This is what? C layer, and already we have this is what? R layer. This way, and this is the top layer of A which is left. It is itself A layer. The top layer which is itself left, it is what? A layer. This way we have got A, E, B, C and R. Whenever you are getting some problem, again stop the video and again watch it, so that you can be able to understand and fully you can understand how it is happening. Again I said that this is the top of the A layer, this is C layer and R layer. Top of the A layer, what is happening? Inside that some movement, downward movement of heavy minerals, organic nutrient is taking. The layer of A from where it is elevation is taking place, that becomes E layer. And the layer of A downward above C layer where it is deposition is taking place or elevation is taking place, that is known as B layer. And the rest of the top A layer, will be, the rest of the top A layer will remain A layer. This is way, is it okay? And you can remember like A, E, B, C, R. Which are the layer top from the down? A, E, B, C, R. A के बाद B होता है, after A there is a B then C, but in between you remember E. A, E, B, C and R layer. If there is a vegetation on the top, if on the top there is a forest area is there, vegetation is there, so this forest organic part, they fall down, decompose and convert into organic nutrient or humus, and that if it is humus is there, if the humus is there, then it will form, it is humus is an organic nutrient, it is known as O layer. Humus is an organic nutrient, it is known as O layer. And the depth of the soil from O, A, E, B till B and something C, it is only 2 meter depth, remember, or less than 2 meter, it does not more than that. You can ask such questions later on, but here it is, I said that O, A, E, B, C and R. This way we have been able to see the formation of soil and then development of soil profile, and it is known as soil genesis. I think you are able to understand this topic very easily. Is it clear? Yes. If again I say that if you have any doubt, please freely ask me, and I'll try my best to answer all questions of yours. Is it okay? Thank you.